Star Wars issue 75 sees Han and the others lead the Star Destroyer to K-43, surprised that this destroyer actually took the bait. He tries to get in touch with Chewie but can't find any signals whatsoever on the planet. Chewbacca meanwhile fights Darth Vader, throwing him from a cliff into a lava field, but Vader uses the Force to control the lava and splash it up towards Chewie. Luke comes to his aid but knows this is his fight only. He causes a rock slide that takes him down to Vader, who immediately grabs the young Skywalker with the Force, choking him to death. Chewie returns, grabbing his friend and escaping across a lava river with him. Stormtroopers soon close in on them, but Chewie and Luke are saved by Han crashing the shuttle into the troopers. As the heroes reunite, they spot Vader coming for them slowly. Leia and Dar get into the action as Luke learns who Dar is. Vader merely blocks Leia's blaster bolts, but Han knows he's injured thanks to the Rock People's pulse wave. Luke knows that they won't get a better shot at Vader, so they all rush him, opening fire on the Dark Lord, who can do nothing but stand there and block their bolts, thanks to his legs shutting down from the pulse. Vader force pushes the team back, falling to his knees as the lava itches closer to him. Troopers arrive to help him, but he shakes them off, stumbling towards the awaiting shuttle. The commander inside tells him that the shuttle still works thanks to being outside the pulse wave, and begins to power it up, but Vader chokes him, ripping the panels off the inside of the shuttle and using it to reset his systems, causing another pulse wave that restarts R2 and 3PO as well. 3PO learns from the Rock People that Vader did a counter pulse, but they know he didn't do it out of kindness. 3PO knows that if the blast woke him up, then the bombs are also reactivated. The Rock People go to meet Han and the others, bringing the Falcon to them. Leia calls for everyone inside, including 3PO and the Rock People, but 3PO tells her not to worry since the Rock People aren't as weak as the flesh. A fissure opens up between them, forcing Leia and Dar to take the shuttle as the others board the Falcon. Luke, however, can't go with them since he needs to go and save R2 and his X-Wing. He rushes off to get his friend and his ship as out of the fissure comes a huge rock person who picks up his smaller brothers and sisters and 3PO, who says that he will be fine. The Falcon takes off as R2 starts up the fighter while Luke boards. Suddenly Vader arrives and Luke faces him, but the ground shakes and tears itself apart, forcing Luke to escape as the planet explodes into a huge rock monster. The heroes can't believe what they are seeing, but it's the least of their problems as Boss Carpo has arrived. Dar reveals that he called Boss to them, telling the boss that he cut a deal with the Empire to kill the crime lord. Han asks why they did that, and Dar says that the planet was meant to explode, so they were to kill the Empire as well as Boss Carpo at the same time. The Falcon leads the Panop around to the destroyer as 3PO and the other Rock People watch on as the giant rock monster is fired upon by the Star Destroyer. The creature merely grabs the destroyer, smashing it to pieces and blowing it apart as Leia and Dar jump to light speed. Boss Carpo's ship isn't so lucky, crashing into the destroyer and blowing up itself. Vader witnesses the explosion from the rocks, pulling the Imperial shuttle towards him and boarding it, flying back to the Executor, where once inside the hangar begins to pull the Panop towards him, since behind the Panop is Luke's broken X-Wing. Vader begins pulling Skywalker's X-Wing towards him, but Admiral Ozzel jumps to light speed. With the Imperial problem out of the way, Luke gets to work on sorting out his air leak, but luckily Waba and the other rebels arrive. Luke knew Waba would be there, but she doesn't believe him, and he says that he didn't know she would be there at that exact moment, but he's glad she is. 3PO watches on, relieved to see his master safe and sound. He apologizes to the Rock People for losing their home, but learns they didn't. They merely awoke their grandmother, and now they will roam the stars before she decides to sleep again and the planet is reborn. 3PO wonders why they didn't wake her sooner, and the Rock People said that he seemed to be attached to his hairy friend Chewbacca, who arrives soon to rescue the droid from the vacuum of space. The Rock People note that his flesh friends came and they cared, like he cares for them, so in return, they cared for them as well and saved them all. 3PO leaves his rock friends behind and boards the Falcon as they blast off. Regrouping with the rebel fleet above Hoth, General Riken thanks Dar for his help, knowing that now that Boss Carpo is dead they can move their people through the core much safely. Luke knows Dar is pretty good and Han and Leia agree with that, but soon they begin to argue over who had the better plan and who just hoped for the best. Luke knows that hoping for the best may be sometimes enough, especially when you are with friends. Star Wars issue 75 25 ended Marvel's first Star Wars ongoing in decades, and it ended on a high note as we are now fully in post-Empire Strikes Back territory. I enjoyed almost everything about this arc and issue, especially the really cool, totally sci-fi twist of the rock people planet being a giant rock person. That was super cool and stuff you don't really see in the Star Wars films. The ending part with Luke very nearly getting captured by Vader was really cool and tense, despite knowing obviously he doesn't get captured by him, and I look forward to them setting up Echo Base and what happens in the new canon between Empire and Jedi. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10.